Welcome to the Hollywood Raw Podcast, Raw Rundown, where we go over the top 10 stories of the week. How do we pick the top 10 stories of the week? It goes by Google search, it goes by data, and lastly, it goes by what you guys are clicking on. I'm Adam Glyn. Over there is Dax Holt. I'm on the East Coast. He's on the best coast, the West Coast. In the middle of the week, we drop a episode where Dax and I sometimes yent it to each other. Sometimes we have a guest on. And then on Fridays, we drop our top 10 stories of the week. Did you have a nice week, Dax?
I did. It's been very busy, but can't complain. Getting lots of crap done, you know how it is. Had coaching soccer and work and this and everything else.
So I had an interesting week. Last weekend was WWE SummerSlam, and I went to it. I got hooked up. I got invited to a suite.
I was going to say, I saw your
both
post.
Nights.
It looked like you were up in a suite enjoying the good life.
I was in a suite. The suite was very nice. There was food. Everything you wanted to eat was there. I mean, it was pretty good. Here's the shitty part, okay? I was told by my buddy who's on the West Coast saying, hey, it starts at 7:30 at night. So I'm like, you know what? I'm coming from the beach. I don't have to be there till like 8. I'm not going to get there till like 8:30 then. You know, the better matches start later. I want to get there at 8:30. So I had a suite both Saturday and Sunday night. I show up there Saturday night at like 8:45 thinking just walking in as soon as I pull in, they don't charge me for parking. I'm like, that's weird. So then all of a sudden, like I even asked the guy, I was like, hey, where do I park? I was like, yeah, park wherever you want. I don't care. Go. I'm like, okay, that's weird. I'm like, oh, maybe the guy recognized me. I don't know. So then all of a sudden I start walking on. My one buddy texts me, goes, where are you? There's one match left. I go, what? I go, dude, I thought this started at 7:30. I didn't know it started at, my buddy had the times wrong. He didn't know anything.
Everything?
I basically only saw one match Saturday night. I was like, oh my God, I'm so embarrassed. I showed up in the suite. Everyone's like, who's this guy? I was like, I ran into some people. I started watching with them. I had to make up some excuse why I was late. The next night, I got there super early, enjoyed the full suite experience, got to watch SummerSlam in comfort. I was in a suite, so I don't have to watch it with like the peasants and stuff. And it was a very cool experience. Say what you want about WWE. It's a good show. It's fun. The energy. They do some crazy stuff. It's fun. I'm like a casual wrestling fan. Obviously, I love my boy John Cena. I'm going to get into him now. So John Cena wrestles Dax in the main event on Sunday night, and it's one of Cena. John Cena is retiring from wrestling, so it is a big deal. The next day, I was on the golf course, and I get hit up by a friend saying, hey, John Cena is filming a movie in Jersey. I'm like, dude, this is a big shot. Like, here he is. He just wrestled this huge match for an hour the night before. The next day, he's on a film set doing a movie, which, you know, who knows how bad, if he could have got injured during the movie, that if he did get injured during the wrestling match, it could have affected the movie, So I'm like, fuck, I got to, I can't make it now, but I'm going to try to go by the set the next day. So Tuesday, I showed up to I went to the address where they shot on Monday. Mm-hmm. Just so happened they were filming again in the same spot. Lucky for me. So there's a few fans waiting probably about, 80 yards away from where the entrance of the building where they're filming. And I go to the police officer. I go, listen, this is going to sound really weird, but I'm a journalist. Where can I stand where John Cena is going to be? She goes, well, you need to stand over the fans. And I go, listen, this is going to sound really weird. He knows me. If he sees me, he's going to stop to talk to me. So I said, where can I stand? I know I can stand wherever I want. It's a public sidewalk. So I don't want to, obviously you have a job to do. Where can I stand where you're not going to be pissed off? I'm not so close where you're going to get in trouble. But, and she's like, who are you? I'm like, see my camera. I show her my camera. She's like, fine, stand over near that bush. Fortunately, I was right near the trailer. And she kind of hooked it up for me. She's like, stand over near that bush. You'll kind of see what's going on. I was probably about like 50 yards away from where it was 40 yards away from his trailer door. John, 25 minutes later, comes out his trailer door. John, I get this minute and a half interview with him. That's good enough that I can monetize it. And it's done, it's one of my quickest viral videos ever. I think got like 1.8 million views in less than 24 hours. That's just on TikTok. But it did really well. And John was super cool on his way to set, stopped and gave me a little comment. But yeah, pretty cool.
That's sick, dude. He's always so good to you. I love hearing that.
He's the best, dude. I'm a huge John Cena guy. I'm a fan. I get maybe a friend, but I've had conversations with him off camera, and I enjoy him. And I used to go after him when nobody cared about him. But yeah, it's funny. Last time I saw him was in New York. He stopped me and goes, "How long have I known you for?" We were talking about it in the car, and I was like, it's been, about to be 20 years. I don't know, not 20 years, but like 17 years now. And he's like, yeah. He's like, it's just crazy. You've been kind of chasing me around. I was like, yeah, I'm pretty sure you give me the time, but it was good. He made me some money and all good with that. All right, let's get to the Raw Rundown. The top 10 stories of the week. Dax, before we get to the Raw Rundown, do you have a review ready for us?
I do. This one comes from our listener called Always on Purpose. It said, solid podcast, 5 stars, always a great listen. Dax and Adam have excellent chemistry, and their experience shows how much knowledge they have in the industry. Love that their episodes are twice a week, which I appreciate. Their hard work makes me look forward to working out and long walks so I can catch up. Love it. Perfect.
That's great.
I like
Thank
being a walking buddy.
I like you just being a casual voice in your ear as you walk or you work out, however you want to do it. And guys, please keep the reviews coming. If you already gave a review, grab your partner's review. Have fun with it. Have fun. Like, say a few corny things. We'll read your review on there. It's a way for us to shout you out. And actually, I just got hit up by another thing about the wrestling thing. I'm getting like emails about all these wrestling interviews. It's so weird. I'm becoming like the wrestling Barbara Walters here. This is kind of ridiculous. But keep the reviews coming in, guys. It's the best thing to do to support this podcast. On to the Raw Rundown, starting with number 10.
Number 10, Kevin Federline is Sorry, I am struggling this morning. What's the time?
Take time. Yeah.
I'm literally half asleep, sir. Okay. Kevin Federline is releasing a tell-all book, which could be really interesting, very juicy. He promised to be extremely intimate and transparent. Fans of Britney Spears are very curious on what this is going to look like and calling him basically this moocher for life, and that they think that he's just going to use Britney Spears and all of the time that they were married as his financial gain. So the tell-all is going to be titled You Thought You Knew, and it promises to detail his entire life from his working class upbringing to his time as a professional dancer. It's going to include the years during his marriage to Britney and the accompanying media circus, according to the press release. He said basically in the release, quote, I achieved my biggest dreams, dealt with crushing heartbreak, and endured constant ridicule, all while becoming a father of my children. Becoming the father my children needed as they experienced nonstop emotional turbulence. Listen, this could be really interesting. I think a book by Kevin Federline. Listen, I don't care about his early years. I don't care about the times that he was a professional dancer. I want to know about his times that he was married to Britney Spears. Let's be honest.
He disagree.
Doesn't need to include the other crap.
I disagree. I don't care about his upbringing and who he went to prom with in high school, but I do think being a professional dancer can be interesting because he's danced for other celebrities. I think he's danced for Timberlake. So his experience of like how do you get those parts, dancing for Timberlake, how they are backstage, and then as well, obviously Britney and the media circus around this. Do you think Kevin Federline look back, like when you see him now, does he come off as a good guy? You know, I feel like he's been a good father to his kids. He's kind of stayed out of the limelight. So, like, I'm not mad at that. Like, here's a guy who kind of, like, was a big star, like a huge star, but he didn't really chase the fame.
I don't know if he was a star, per se. I think he was famous or infamous.
Yeah, famous. But he didn't chase celebrity after it, Like, after he kind of married another person and started a family and became a good dad, stays out of limelight, moved away from Hollywood. I don't know. He doesn't seem like a terrible guy to me. Again, I don't know him. I just respect that he did that. I think this book could be very, very good if he goes in detail.
It could definitely be a good book. I don't know much about Kevin Federline in regard outside of he was the father his kids needed at a very tough time in their life. That's all I can say about him. I think that he did do a good job being that dad that they needed, given that the hand that they were dealt, right? Do I find that this is a money grabbing opportunity? Mm, I mean, listen, we all have stories. This is his story. Whether we like it or not, he was married to Britney Spears. He is allowed to tell his own story of his life. So whether people think that that is just an opportunity to make money or not, it's his life. He should be able to talk about it.
Yeah, I think it's also a pretty unique thing. Like I can only say it for someone for myself who's like trying to like look into possibly doing a book of some sort. It's like, is it a money grab? Like, yeah, I would like to monetize and make some money on it. However, I also feel like I have these wild stories I just want to tell people because it's just insane for me. And I think for him as well. But it's also, does he need the money, Dax? Did he make enough money from Britney? Because
I
he did
mean,
do like an
he got
interview like
paid
in
child
Australia.
support. Child support has ended at this point. Both kids are over 18, so he's not getting a child support payment anymore. But I don't know how much money Kevin Federline. I know that he lives in Hawaii at this point. I know that his current wife Victoria is like a volleyball coach at the University of Hawaii. So I don't know what else he does, and maybe this is like he goes, hey, I need something else beyond the child support payments at this point. So this is how I can make money. Because what else do you do? You can't, being Kevin Federline, what do you go work at Costco? Do you, what else do you do? I don't know what else his talents are at this point in life. He hasn't danced in a very long time, so I don't think he's going to go be anyone's backup dancer. So I don't know what else
Do you
you
think
do.
he's a good dancer still? He's 47 years old. Do you think he's a good dancer still? Not
I'm
like
sure he's a good dancer.
if he goes to a bar mitzvah, is he gonna be like,
I
"Go Kevin, go," and he, you know,
I'm sure it's the Popo's out. Popo's
Popo's
out. Popo's out.
Popo's Out was the best, man. Popo's Out was a song. I think it was like a download only song he did,
It
and
was
that
so
to me
funny.
was like the funniest thing when he did Popo's Out. It was, yeah, one of my favorites. Popo's Out. All right, number 9.
Teyana Taylor, she is actually going to have an emergency vocal surgery, and it seems like she's been dealing with some vocal pain. They found it sounds like a growth on one of her vocal cords, and so she is going to be canceling a bunch of upcoming appearances. Her album is still going to release on time, but she had a really interesting appearance coming up, a really popular one. She was supposed to be on Michelle Obama's podcast out in Martha's Vineyard, and she's like, I can't do it. I can't do it. I have to get this non-cancerous growth taken off one of my cords. And so she's like, it's breaking my heart that I can't be on Michelle Obama's podcast, which I got to mention, that's a pretty huge career opportunity for her. And now she can't do it. And it's all because of this growth on her vocal cord.
I'm surprised Michelle Obama of all people wants Tiana. Like, who pitched to? Did they pitch her on the podcast, or did Michelle Obama reach out to Teyana Taylor?
I would assume Tiana's people reached out to her. She has an album coming out, so
Okay.
it would make sense if she has an album coming out on I think it's August 22nd. That timing lines up as a good promotional boost for her. So yeah, I guess her album's called Escape Room. That will still release, all good. You probably just won't see her performing right away or doing any of the night shows or anything else to promote that album.
People forget that
That kind of
Teyana
sucks.
Taylor.
You have
Yeah,
an
no, it
album
definitely
coming out,
sucks.
you can't promote it.
People forget Teyana Taylor was on My Super Sweet 16.
Was she
Remember that
really?
show? Yeah, she was. It's if you Google it, she was on that, and it was, it was a good one. Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was. Yeah, she was on it. So I mean, she grew up with some money, and yeah, I met her. Very nice. I really don't have much to say about it, but except I remember she was on. She's doing a movie actually with what's it called, Leonardo DiCaprio, which I was like, ooh, man, good for her. But she's worked hard. She's kept punching. She I guess she's doing her thing. But the story got some pickup. All right, number 8.
Dude, did you see what Machine Gun Kelly eats? And it's basically nothing. This is crazy. So he was on this interview, or it's not even an interview. He was doing a thing with like a hangout with streamers, and they were talking about what he eats because they were eating a hamburger during this like streaming, and the guy said, "Oh, if we weren't streaming right now, I wouldn't be eating this hamburger. I just kind of doing that because you guys are having me on here." But he said, "I don't really eat much. I eat like a couple times a week. Normally, it's just kind of like water for dinner." And they started getting into like, "What do you mean you just eat like? What do you mean you just only have water?" He goes, "Yeah, sometimes I'll have like a bone broth, or I'll have kimchi. Is that how you say it? Kimchi?
Kimchi, yeah.
Kimchi
Kombucha.
in water, and he'll like boil it." He literally eats nothing, dude. And he got into the fact that he eats the kimchi in water because it's got probiotics and this and that. So it's like he's pretty well versed in what he needs to do, but he's got like no nutrition. And when you go down to the comments, everyone in the comments is like, "Okay, this is an eating disorder. All right, I learned today that MGK has an eating disorder." Like the whole comments are about him having anorexia. One person said, "This is called anorexia. Men have to eat too. This is a disordered eating, not self-control." So they're all saying this is not something for him trying to, watch his weight. That this is a mental disorder. You have any thoughts on this?
It could be. I'm sure he said he eats sauerkraut a lot, which is they're all probiotics, which as they say is good for your gut. Sometimes they say, is it probably the healthiest thing? These are good foods, by the way. Sauerkraut and kimchi and all that stuff is
Now,
pretty
you
good.
can't
I think he
live
said
on this crap.
live on it is kind of tough. I'm sure there should be some other vitamins, and the guy but he's also a rock star. Look at Keith, like Mick Jagger and Keith Richards. I mean, they lived on cigarette and booze. So it's like, the body is able to run on adrenaline too, which I'm sure he has. So, I mean, yeah, I believe him. When you look at him, does he look like he eats a lot? No.
Yeah,
Do
but
I think he doesn't even think about it, and I think he
he's
just
also not
it's
like
definitely not healthy.
super. He's not super muscly, so it kind of makes
No.
sense. Like you're not going to be a gigantic person muscle wise if you don't nourish your body. You can't just sustain on just water all the time.
He's doing all right, man. I can't say, I gotta say he looks pretty good. I know. MGK's made some transition. I remember when he was like hip hop and like pretty hardcore hip hop. Now he's like punk emo pop, but it's good music. I have to say it's good music. I know you hate his music video, but I dig
But
it. I
listen,
dig what
the
he's
music
doing.
video was lame. The song was great. It's a very catchy song. This cliche song. It's on the
Yeah,
radio. I have it I hear it all the time. It's a great catchy song. I will say that.
yeah. All right. Dax, are we on number 7?
We are on number 7. Sean Diddy Combs' attorney is confirming that they've approached Donald Trump for a pardon. So I was kind of surprised about this, but Nicole Westermoreland is her name. She is one of the attorneys on his all-star defense team. Told CNN in an exclusive interview on Tuesday that yes, the team did reach out to the Trump administration about a potential pardon following his conviction on 2 charges of transportation to engage in prostitution last month. They've reached out. There's been communication. If you remember, I think Trump was asked whether or not he would pardon Combs, and he basically said, "Listen, I was very friendly with him. I got along well with him. He seemed like a nice guy. I didn't know him well, but when I ran for office, he was very hostile." And he said that makes it more difficult to do. At the end of that, I'm like, does everyone just run to Trump at this point to ask for a pardon? Like, what? Just because you're famous doesn't mean you get a pardon. Like, get out of here.
Yeah, he's working it. He's got the money to blow, so it's like, hey, just keep kind of doing it. And yeah, I think Trump will entertain the idea just because it's good headlines and
Well,
stuff.
he knows that it's publicity.
It's
Like
publicity.
Trump, we've always said, is the master of publicity. And so he's like, "Oh, I'll kind of entertain this narrative." I don't see him doing it, honestly. But anyway, yeah,
Yeah,
it's kind of
all right.
interesting that they'd go after that, knowing that Diddy was not a Trump fan and that Diddy did go after him. Yeah, now you
Yeah,
come crawling back wanting a pardon.
yeah. All right. Number 6, Dex.
Number 6, Ozzy Osbourne. The cause of death has been released according to a bunch of reports. So you remember, obviously, he died at the age of 76. Now it's according to a heart attack. And this is in the death certificate obtained by the New York Times and the Sun. The death certificate reportedly listed his cause of death of out-of-hospital cardiac arrest, acute myocardial infarction, and coronary artery disease and Parkinson's disease with autonomic dysfunction. So the myocardial infarction is a medical term for a heart attack, is what I am reading. And so, yeah, I don't think there's any massive surprise there in regards to his cause of death. But still big news nonetheless. Everyone's been talking about his passing right after he had that big performance, the very emotional moments that his family said goodbye to him in the streets in the UK. That was pretty crazy, just to see them out and about. And I think because the funeral was private and at his estate, I think giving the fans that moment was pretty cool of his family.
Yeah, I mean, the whole thing is really sad. I'm glad that he got his flowers from his peers, from his colleagues, from his fans. I thought they did a nice way of kind of, the ceremony was private, but they kind of brought him through the streets. And then obviously the last concert, the farewell show. I saw a video that passed on my social media. It was musician Youngblood got to see him and talk to him. I don't know if you saw that video. It was just like a nice conversation. Again, he looked good for Ozzy. Like mentally was still there. The whole thing's just sad, but I'm glad that people are recognizing what he did. I mean, he had a very interesting career, but it was very for music, it was very influential. And obviously he influenced a lot of music and style, and even the Osbournes, which was the reality show was just a
I
significant
love that show so
wild reality.
much.
It was the Osbournes was such a reality show. It was almost like it was like the Addams Family if they did a reality show. And everything about it, from the style, see inside their house, everything about it was cool. I actually should look up Oz. What's so funny? I look on eBay for real random clothes all the time, and Osbourne's MTV vintage shirt popped on my eBay thing. I wonder how much that shirt's going for now. It's about the family, but
My
I know.
favorite part of the Osbourne show was just the amount of shit those little dogs would crap all over their house. Do you remember? And like Ozzy would be walking around and be just Sharon, Sharon, and there's like dog feces on the carpet. Like it was just so chaotic. It was beautiful TV back then.
It was really good. I wonder if you could watch that like on Paramount now, if you watch the old. What's so weird with the Paramount, like the streamer? Like you can't watch like old like Jackass. Well, you can watch Jackass, but like there's some old MTV shows that you can't watch, and that bothers me. Osbourne's being one of them. I guess because they sell it on DVD, they don't want it, but whatever. It's stupid. All right, number 5.
All right, number 5, Dave Franco says that he is open to play Luigi Manzione in a biopic.
Happen.
What is it?
It's going to happen. He looks exactly like it. I mean, I saw him say the statement, but he looks just like Luigi Manzione. And a movie about this guy, it's going to do well. The studio's going to get their money back. But tell me more about the story.
Oh, yeah. This will, the fascination around this guy, of course. But basically, Dave Franco, he was on Bravo's Watch What Happens Live. That's when he was asked about portraying Manzione, because the internet has been going crazy talking about it, comparing photos, putting them together. And so it was one of those like fan questions whether or not he would play him. And he said, social media has come to a consensus that you are the person that should play him. So he goes, look, no one's approached me yet. I'll say that this is something that more people in my life have reached out about this exact thing than anything else ever that has happened. So he said, look, I'm open to the idea if he was offered the role, saying if it was the right people, let's just leave it at that. And so if you remember, if the name Manzione is not ringing a bell for you, he's the guy that was accused of killing Brian Thompson, the CEO of United Healthcare. He is now facing multiple federal and state charges, including murder of a firearm forgery and identity falsification. He's also been a hot topic for a lot of people on the internet because of his looks and stuff. So
We have to say the word accused because it's still going through this, the courts
I
and
did
stuff.
say accused, didn't I?
You did. I know I'm saying you
Yeah.
did.
Oh,
But
okay.
like everyone's like, what do you mean accused? But I'm like, no, you have to essentially say accused legally because it is going through the courts.
Yeah, and I think that he's got an appearance in court in New York on September 16th. So that court case is still very active.
I do think a movie like this will come out. My prediction, however, right now is the story is still being told. With we got to see what happens in court and see what there's still more to the story. But also, I think we have to wait a little because I think it is a sensitive subject. Because I don't think they'd want to make this into. I'm sure they'll make a documentary on this, maybe, but to make into a movie, it's a sensitive subject. But yeah, all right. Number, Oh, by the way, who I met this week? Speaking of movies,
Who?
I met this guy named Steve Brill. Nice guy. He created the Mighty Ducks. He directed the movie. He wrote it. Came up with when he was like 26,
Did he do
20
anything
years old.
else after that?
He did the movie Heavyweights. He directed Mr. Deeds. He directed a bunch of stuff after. But the Mighty Ducks. Can you imagine creating the Mighty Ducks, directing the Mighty Ducks, writing the Mighty Ducks? That makes the Mighty Ducks 2, Mighty Ducks 3, makes it into a cartoon, makes into an NHL team. Like it's so much came from just the Mighty Ducks. So
That's pretty cool.
Pretty wild. Number 4,
Denise Richards showed up at her estranged husband's house the other day on Sunday, and keep in mind they've got a restraining order, and so cops were called out, and all because she believed that her ex put down one of her dogs without her consent, and so the living situation with them was very bizarre. He's living at the marital home, but he's there with one of his siblings and his parents. She is living, it sounds like, in a condo. She has talked about in the past that she actually has multiple condos, that his parents had moved into the family home and along with one of his siblings. And so she then started to get a condo, and they got another condo, and they got another condo. One is a studio. One is kind of like a hangout where she lives. And so anyway, that's why apparently his family is at the house. But she showed up at 4:40 p.m. on Sunday, started banging on the door, and demanding to be let in because she was accusing him of putting down one of the dogs. The cops did show up and said that there was no evidence of a crime that occurred because he wasn't there at the time, because they can't be around each other. There's a restraining order, right? But his people are saying that he heard her banging on the door and exited out a back door so that there wouldn't be any type of violation of the restraining order. What's interesting is I've read through all the stories. His people are saying that the whole putting down a dog is false, but there's no conclusion of whether or not there was actually the dog put down without her consent, so I don't know what happened to the dog. That's all I care about. I'm like, so is the dog alive or dead? None of the stories are saying whether or not the dog is alive or dead at this point, so I don't know.
Yeah. This is turning into the new Kim Zolciak, where we just keep talking about it every
100%.
single week, and I'm just so annoyed. I think I understand it is a news story, but I'm just okay, it's not fun. I don't like it. I know we have to cover it, but I don't really enjoy it, to be honest with you. It's all right, enough. What else? It just we're just keep pulling shit out of this story. It's all right, another shitty part of this.
Well,
story.
listen, she's showing up, banging on the door. There's literally paparazzi photos of her talking to police officers.
But wait, hold on, Dax. There's a paparazzi photo of a black eye, right?
Well, there's photos of her walking around the streets of LA with a black eye, but
what's that
sounds
about?
like that might be because of a medical procedure that she had done, or they had, some kind of injection in her face gives her a black eye. No domestic violence issue with that, but it's just dang, there's so much going on with Denise Richards and this guy every single day at this point.
I wonder if she's getting more OnlyFans viewers or whatever it is, subscribers from the press.
I'm sure.
I wonder if it goes up.
what it is everyone talking about it, and every news article talks about her having an OnlyFans, or, OnlyFans star or whatever. And I think that just fuels more curiosity for people to go and get a subscription.
What a world. Number 3.
Number 3, shocking news, but Howard Stern might be wrapping up his show. This could be the end of the Howard Stern show, at least the second version of it for, that appeared on XM radio that's been going on for the last 20 years. It sounds like this is kind of the could be the end, because his $500 million 5-year contract deal is wrapping up, and it is unclear whether or not he is going to be renewing it. This was a big shock to a lot of people on the staff, because he's got a huge staff of almost 100 people with writers, producers, and they're hearing about it based on all the news articles that are being published. And listen, he's been doing the show from home for a long time. I think that there's got to be an age. He's 71 at this point. Isn't there a point where you just want to wrap it up and be done and not have any obligations, even though he has the best gig in all of radio, right? You do it from home, you take the summer off, you got a pretty kick-ass schedule, but at some point, don't you want to just not do anything? That's what I would think. There's been some rumors going around that his listening ship has dropped way off. At one point, he had 20 million listeners a day, and now people believe, and I don't know if there's any truth behind this, but that it's down to 125,000 people who listen a day. If that's the case, there's no way SiriusXM is going to be able to afford to keep him at such a high salary. There's just no way.
So here's where I'll clarify. Some of the headlines are worse than what it actually is, because there's no confirmation. The show is not done. His contract ends in October. I'm just gonna rephrase this. The show is not done in October. His contract expires in October, which means, what do we do next?
Mm-hmm.
The numbers as far as his listeners go, that's not out there. No one could track. Sirius doesn't release the numbers of how many people listen to any show on SiriusXM. They'll say how many subscribers they have. They'll say how many paid subscribers they have. But it's weird, though, because that's the part that I have a little issue with Sirius, because when you get a new car, they give you a Sirius subscription. So they're, if they say their subscribers are going up, it's why? Because people are buying cars and they get the free subscription, or if they don't let it go. But they're saying it's a weird, you can't get a really definite answer for them as to how many paid subscribers they have. Nobody has the money to pay Stern like they did. Look at Colbert's situation. Stern was getting 500 million, then 100 million. They just don't have that type of money anymore to keep paying out for people like this. And, there's other people there, like
still
Alex
listen
Cooper.
To Stern?
No, not really. And I'm a huge Stern fan. I used to work there back in the day. I listen to, if he has an interview I'll listen to the interview. But to be honest with you, I'm just not in the car as much to even listen to him. Yeah. And it's nothing against him. It's just I'm just not in the car as much too. So I just don't think Sirius bottom line has the money to keep paying him the money he wants. And there's other people they could bring in to get, like an Alex Cooper and Andy Cohen, that could kind of hold an audience and bring in an audience, keep an audience.
I think Andy has honestly become such a huge part of Sirius that I think why wouldn't they invest in a younger talent at this point? You know what I'm saying?
Cheaper.
A cheaper, younger talent. I think that is a direction. If you are running Sirius, don't get me wrong. I listened to Howard Stern for many, many years, but there's got to be a point where they got to shift their focus to someone who is younger that is going to keep driving those numbers in.
Yeah, for sure. And he eats up a lot of the budget. He's got a very big staff. It was a good run, but I can see, though, and this is not ruled out either, that SiriusXM say, all right, Howard, you will oversee the channel and we will buy your library. So we'll basically own all your shows and your content. We could just run it on the Howard Stern show where we just play all day the best of Stern.
And that's the thing.
There's something they could do.
It's been going on for so many years that it is an endless archive that is very valuable, and people will listen to those old interviews for
Yeah,
sure. Like
for sure.
100% they will.
Yeah. Dax, number 2.
John Cena getting raw and answering questions and talking all about his hair transplant, which I didn't even know he had one. But he is now on the cover of People magazine for this week and reflecting on his life and leaving the WWE after 23 years. He just got candid, and I love when people get candid. But he was talking about his hair transplant, which again, did you know he had a hair transplant?
I did. He mentioned it, I think, earlier, but he kind of got more in detail with this interview about it. His hair was just thinning out, especially in the back. And when he was wrestling, the fans started going after him. When he came back, that like he was starting to thin out in the back. And I mean, he says that basically the interview says he got it because WWE fans basically were kind of not being the nicest
Talking
about
about it,
it.
yeah.
And I understand. Listen,
He said they pushed me into going and seeing what my options were because people were commenting about it. He said there was even someone that was holding up a sign that said the bald John Cena. And he's like, damn, like I really got to go get this checked out. He said, he had a routine of red light therapy and vitamins and shampoo and conditioner. And he also got a hair transplant in November. And he says he hates the fact that he hates the fact if there wasn't so much like shame around it. He's like, I would have got it done 10 years ago. He goes, I thought I was alone, but 7 out of 10 men suffer with thinning or baldness. And I think he really regrets that he just didn't do it earlier. And, again, I don't know why there's so much shame around hair transplant when there's people getting fake boobs every day. Like, why is a hair transplant? It's like the same shit. Like, if people want that confidence, let them have that confidence. Stop shaming them.
I agree. I think it's really cool that he did. And actually, Joel McHale recently did an interview where he talked about his hair transplant. I think he said he did more than once. He went and got it done. And yeah, I think it's cool that he spoke up about it. I think it's cool that he just being honest about it. I think more guys need to do it. I would honestly, I have my hair is pretty decent. I'm pretty thick, but I could see my hairline maybe going up a little higher. I would get it done if I had an extra 12 grand laying around. I would do it. Would you
Yeah,
do it?
I would do it. I mean, I love my hair, so I
You
think
got
that
good hair.
I would not be a good bald guy. I think I've got a
Yeah,
weird cone head shaped
me
head.
too. Me
Well,
too. I was an anal
underneath
baby.
the hair is
Mhm.
covering it up, so I look kind of normal. But I think that I just wouldn't be good looking bald. So I think I would need to do some kind of transplant if
I,
I was balding.
I agree with you. Shout out to John Cena for doing it, speaking up and kind of humanizing thinning hair. Dax, the number one story of the week.
Brooke Hogan, she's obviously been getting a ton of hate online from Hogan fans saying, why didn't you show up to your dad's funeral? And she's been open up about it. She went on social media and kind of explained why she chose not to attend Hulk Hogan's funeral. And she said, look, people grieve in many ways. And she released this whole big statement on there. She said, my father hated the morbidity of funerals. He didn't want one, and although I know people grieve in many ways, I'm so grateful for all the celebrations and events organized to honor him as his daughter. I had to make my own decision to honor him in the best, most genuine way I knew how, privately, the way that made me feel the closest to him. The only thing missing today was him in a pop-up lawn chair watching the waves and the sunset. She said, Daddy, we honored you in the most simplest way that agreed with my soul. We took our babies to the beach, put them in the same salty waters you loved. Molly loved the water. I think she'll be the little fish as you called me. We love you and honor the things that made you so special. Every grain of sand and every wave reminded me of being your beach baby and brought us closer to you. I pray you are at peace now and how dearly I love you. Rest in heaven, Daddy. And I thought, everyone is so quick to judge someone else. She has had a strained relationship with her father, hasn't really spoken to him the last 2 years. But at the end of the day, like, if this is how she wanted to remember her dad or memorialize him, like, no one else can put their feet in her shoes.
Yeah,
And
I
if this is how it worked, like, good for her.
like she said, everyone has a different way of grieving, and it's not easy. No one could tell her how you should grieve. I hope she doesn't regret not going because that's something you can't do again. So it's, you hope she looks back and she was like, okay, it was the right thing for me to do. It is a sensitive subject. It's not easy. It's very difficult.
I think unfortunately it's already not easy to lose someone, but then you have the fucking internet just railing on you for any decision because they feel like they know what's best, but like they don't know all the inner workings of the Hogan relationship. We know that there was a lot of drama and craziness, and I think there was stress around him remarrying that Sky Daily, and that I don't think was easy on Brooke. And she also felt like there was a lot of people that were just using Hulk for his name, his money, his fame, all of it, and she didn't want to be a part of it, and that's why she pulled her name out of the will. And listen, she made these decisions, and I think that she stands by those decisions. Again, I always respect Brooke Hogan for being so honest and real, and it can't be an easy decision to be like pulling your name out of a will. You know what I'm saying? Because that's like
generational
your
money.
Livelihood at the
she
end of
has
the day,
children, that could to kind of benefit off that and have their school and be taken care of, and that's
and the fact that she pulled her name out of the will, not because she like didn't want a piece of his legacy, but because she knew the shit show that was going to strum up when he passed away, and she didn't want to be a part of it. And look where she's at. She's still in the middle of the shit show she didn't want to be a part of.
I was really surprised, though, her first interview she did with Bubba the Love Sponge, which was the guy whose wife, he was the guy who kind of filmed, or he says he didn't film, but let his wife sleep with Hogan, and they had that sex tape that kind of went crazy. So that was interesting that he did the interview. She said during the interview, apparently, that, don't keep beating yourself over it. It's over. So, I mean, I think this is her way of looking for closure. Yeah.
But she also grew up with Bubba the Love Sponge. You know what I'm saying? Like, that was her dad's former best friend, and she knows him very, very well. So, again, it's so hard to say because none of us know what it's like to be Brooke Hogan.
Yeah. I wonder if I got to imagine there's going to be a lot more stories coming out about Hogan. She also put out, by the way, I will say one thing. She also she questioned how he passed away. And the police are saying no.
She just wanted to know why there was no autopsy. Like, why is there no autopsy? Why did you, cremate him so quickly? So she's got some questions, and she also basically threatened to go after Hulk's team suing wise if they don't stop just being cruel to her in the media.
Yeah. But it's funny because both sides keep talking to media outlets. So they're all hitting each other up. Like the same outlet, they're just like, hey, here's this. And they're just like feeding, they're really just feeding the outlets pretty much stories. I just don't think this is not the end of the Hogan story and stuff that's going on with it. I think we're going to hear a lot of what was going on behind the scenes. That's my personal feeling. All right. That is the Raw Rundown. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure you guys leave a review on the Apple Podcast app. Leave 5 stars. Say a few kind words on our YouTube. Make sure you guys like and subscribe. Follow me at Adam Glyn. Follow Dax Holt at Dax Holt. Check out our private Facebook group, Off the Record. You just have to answer a few questions, and we will allow you in it. We'll see you guys later.
Bye-bye.
Guys, hope you liked that video. We got a lot more where that came from.
Hit that bell, like, subscribe, share with a friend. The best you can do to support us is really doing that. And we really need the money because we need hair gel.